Hi friends, a very good evening to you all, and I would like to welcome you all to our special session on so I guess lots of people are already there online for us. I will be waiting for a little bit of time, but meanwhile I want to welcome you all, my friends, to our special session on how to become a good content writer. We will learn the strategy. We will also have the experience from our mentors, Kanika and Shaifali. And today, as you know, we have with us two of our interns. One is Urja and another one is Shruti. Both of them has made lots of efforts in preparing today's webinar. So, I am sure you would like to appreciate their efforts and would like to share this particular link to everybody in social media and create as much buzz as possible. The idea is to reach out to maximum number of people, and at the same time, we should also make full use of this evening with these four wonderful people with us. So, my friends, I guess Sharon is already taking care of the moderation of the chat. And in today's evening program, I will be moderating the event. And with us, we have four people. Two of them are interns, and two of them are mentors. Our second mentor, Shefali, is yet to join us, but I just hope she will join us in time. Otherwise, no problem. She already has done her best, already briefed whatever best she could do. So with us, we will have these two interns will be supported by our mentor Kanika. Kanika, is a very good and seasoned content writer, and she is a graduate in political science and a specialist in communication and content writing. You will be happy to note that she has 17 plus years of experience. Earlier, she was more involved in content writing for media like Times of India, India Today. Later on, she branched out to corporate communications and she has worked for Genpact, House India, Urban Club, Center for Science and Environment, and she's an expert and a storyteller as well. And she also creates a stellar digital strategy for variety of brands. Similarly, our second mentor, Shefali, is also a seasoned copy editor and content writer. She is based in Vadodara, Gujarat. She is working as a legal content editor with Newsen, Chennai. She is postgraduate in biotechnology, and she is very passionate writer, and she writes a lot about career building and career development. She started her copy editing career in Fab 2014, and then after she has had never looked back, into any other domain. Both of them have been very active with Indian Copyright Editors Forum, promoted by our friend Vivek, and both of them has been very actively promoting, the Editors Forum as well. So, with this, my friend, let's welcome our intern Urja, who will introduce herself first, and then we will initiate our, talk for today. So back to Urja, please.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Urja Shah and I'm from Mumbai. I'm a BCom graduate and I'm currently pursuing my MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Bangalore. I've always been intrigued by this digital marketing field, and I also recently freelanced as a content writer for a Chennai-based consultancy firm, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought this is something I can take up in my as a professional career as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your introduction, Urja. Let's come back to Shruti. Shruti, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Shruti Singh, and currently I am pursuing graduation in French honors from Delhi University Arts Faculty, and I live in Delhi.
Wow. So we have English, and then we have Hindi, and then we have French. And now we have another, a brief introduction from our friend Kanika. Kanika, can you little bit give a brief about yourself? I have unmuted you.
Yeah. So hi everybody, I am Kanika Dhawan and I'm based out of New Delhi and I'm a seasoned communications and content specialist. My last assignment was at Genpact in their talent marketing and communications department. And before that, I have worked on several independent projects on like revamping the website for India's pioneering childbirth expert. And there was House India and Urban Clap and Luxury Page. And before that, I was an out-and-out features writer and an editor for varied leading Indian publications and digital companies like India Times. And then I wrote a lot of features for Rob Report, which is the world's biggest luxury magazine. And my longest stint has been with the Times of India, where I have worked in the features department in varied capacities. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Happy to see you here, Kanika. Now let's see, our friend Shaifali has also joined. Shaifali, could you like to say something about yourself? Although I've already given a brief introduction of yours, but we would like to hear from you as well.
Hello, sir. Hi, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, good evening. My name is Shaifali and I'm based out of Vadodara, Gujarat, basically from Dehradun. And I have started pursuing my copywriting career back in 2014. I've enjoyed doing it, although it was a career by accident. But then slowly, I molded myself into this field. Then I started content writing. I worked for various cohorts with biology and I used to solve questions for university level students. Meanwhile, I also train students for IELTS exam and give training for spoken English, and that is kind of on and off thing. But on a regular basis, I'm copy editing and a content writer.
Wow, that's a great. So we have my friends heard from Kanika and Shaifali, our mentors too. So now back to our today's agenda. And agenda for today is we are discussing on becoming good content writers. You know why I have chosen this topic. I would like to give you little, introduction on that. The idea is, see, after global concept called globalization, as well as the boom of social media, we call it Google phenomena, as well as Web 2 technologies, there has been kind of tremendous opportunities coming in last 10 years. There has been exponential growth in consumption of content, and there has been also demand for variety of contents. It is no more plain creative content that comes into picture. There are a variety of techniques that is required nowadays in order to reach out to larger audience and become friendly with what we call Google Baba. If Google is not picking up your content and you keep on writing good contents, it will be of no use. So in order to make friends with Google as well as other search engine, it becomes imperative and important for us to understand certain techniques apart from being creative, apart from understanding the flavor, the psyche, the sense, etc., simplicity. There are a variety of objects that comes into picture. So in order to understand these complex points, we thought it's better to do discussions and do certain introspection and improve upon. And in this direction, our friend Urja as well as Shruti has worked, and she will be supported by our mentors Kanika as well as Shaifali. And I will also be sharing my experience in content writing, because I've been actively involved in content writing for more than 25 years, I will say. First as an editor or writer of variety of business books, like Doing Business in Latin America, Doing Business in Peru, Doing Business in Brazil, Venezuela. These are the 4 books which I edited in my beginning of the career. And then I was doing political reports for some diplomatic missions, and then variety of research works, which brought me into content writing. As a professor at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, for Spanish and Latin American studies, I've supervised around 200 plus MBA research papers, which generally students are supposed to create, content on variety of research topics. Published around more than 40 articles, research articles on variety of topics related to diplomacy, international relations, law, as well as translation. Passionate now about artificial intelligence as well as translation studies, which brings me to you all. So with this, my friend, please welcome Shruti with her presentation. I will just who is starting, Shruti or Urja? So I will just first unmute both of them, and then we'll decide who is starting first, and then we'll show the Urja or Shruti first.
So I'll be starting.
Okay, so let's welcome Urja first with her content. I will show the slides and share it with everybody, so that you also understand what is there, and that will help everybody. And with this, here comes your slide. The first one is our, this today's topic, and that is how to become a content writer. But now after this, we will have, our content. I've just shared it. And so now over to Urja.
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone. So I would like to start with making you all understand what is content. So according to, in this context of content writing, any written content available on any digital platform will be considered as a written content in the context of content writing. Okay, and content writing is a process. It's a process of planning, writing, and editing written content on a web platform. So I cannot see your screen actually.
No?
Yeah. Okay. So after that, it's content writing is actually a part of digital marketing, but it includes a lot of things which goes beyond writing just articles. So it contains fields like digital marketing or content optimization. And my fellow intern Shruti would like to brief more about that.
Okay, so my friend Urja has already told us about content writing. And I also know that content writing is all about wordplay. But here comes the importance of content writing. So why content writing is important? We are all enthusiasts in learning content writing, but we haven't ever focused on the importance of content writing. So here I have tried to found the importance of content writing in 3 major parts. The first one is, it is important to elevate an organization and catch the eyeballs of audiences. We know that in today's time, more and more businesses are trying to focus on new type of content, basically on unique ideas, so that it would help to grab the attention of audiences. I think that content writing not only grab the attention of audiences, but it also helps to elevate a brand or any organization. So moving on further, we come to that content is seen as is a currency. It is very true that we are in digital world, and especially in marketing, content plays a very important role. So the companies or any organization nowadays seeing content as a currency. They focus, they are focusing on content in the form of currency, where where each organization have converted content into a trade, and so that they could grab the attention of audiences. And if this attention is done correctly, then it is obvious that that content would lead to a sale. We can see many organizations which are helping, which are creating many services and tools to help content marketers or content writers. These tools or services are Grammarly, Wow Grade, or Hemingway, and so on. Now, the last one is also very important. Good content is always shared. We know that the best content will be shared by the social media platform or offline platform. So here, the content writer has to put focus on content and he has to write an attention-grabbing headline, so that the reader should find interest in reading that particular article. If a reader or audience is finding interest in that particular article, then it is obvious that he will share with their family members or relatives by using social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Now, I want my friend Urja to explain further about types of content writing.
Before we move, further, Urja.
Yes, sir.
Allow me to do some intervention on this, because when we are talking about content is king, what does it mean? Can you explain a little bit on it, either Shruti or Urja? Because we need to clarify a little bit to our audience who are watching us, and I believe it is very important to explain, what is the importance of saying this statement, content is king.
Okay, so I believe that content is king because unless you have a very crisp or very clear online content or any type of content, offline or online, you won't be able to attract audience. You don't have enough enough hook or enough content to grab the attention of the audience, to keep them hooked and make them read further.
Right. So in this regard, perhaps Kanika would like to say something, because I believe, content which has more to do with the storytelling thing, that grabs more attention. What you say, Kanika, on that?
So yes, we are supposed to create or write headlines. Those the lingo for it is clickbait, right?
Right.
That write those clickbait headlines and attention grabbing and all that is great.
Right.
But I have a problem with the clickbait headlines. That even if you write a stellar clickbait headline, but if the content below that clickbait headline is not great, I mean, I have clicked on that headline, I've clicked on the article, I'm inside the article, but I'm not going to read it. Ultimately, I think that the headline and copy both matter, and I'm still of a very old school of thought. And I know that if the world is moving towards a very short form of content and communication, everything has to be, tweet oriented and all of that. But I think that ultimately it's important that whatever we write, whether it's long form, short form, tweets, whatever it is nowadays, there's in shorts, I don't know what all there is in this world today. Everything has to be very, we have to make sure that there's great depth in whatever we are writing, whether there's a headline or whether that's a copy, whether it's like I'm very active on LinkedIn. So I know for a fact that a lot of people are writing a lot of heartfelt stories since Sushant Singh Rajput's death, about their own battles with depression. So imagine, how am I interested if you are I mean, you're suffering from depression, and this LinkedIn has got some, I don't know how many billion followers. But today morning when I was scrolling LinkedIn, every person who's written a post like this has received at least 100, 200, 2000 likes, 3000 likes. So it's not like anybody has just liked it for the heck of it. People have gone and there are like 333 comments. So people are reading all this, right? So I think ultimately it's the heart that is important. That in everything that we do, you know, whether we like, for example, when I used to work in Genpact and we used to create a newsletter on a daily basis, and we had to come up with really clickbait headlines, but we could not. We had to stick to the subject. If you were doing a story on, let's say a new tool, we had to write a headline which was related to that tool. We couldn't say something totally different just because we wanted to grab eyeballs.
Right. So in this particular, point, we have in our previous session on search engine optimization, we have discussed 2 points, if you recall. One was backlinking, and another was clocking, which deceives people. You are putting a headline, catchy headline, wait, people come, click, and they enter into totally a different zone. So that what happens, you are, instead of bringing people for your benefit, you are creating a rift between the content as well as the audience. So such kind of, bait which has no weight inside, nobody will read it. So that means it may be only for bringing, traffic, but it results in a big disaster, in long run or even medium run. So when we talk of, saying that content is the king, in the sense that nowadays, so many websites, so many platforms, so many, social media platforms, interactions, daily apps coming in, millions of, sources are there where this content is produced. And among that, in that competition, if your content was to survive and catch attention of the people, create interest or emotions, I will say, many times in ads, ego weakness comes into picture when ego weakness is exploited. For example, you bring Amitabh Bachchan, to endorse some pen, Parker pen. When you write with Parker pen, it doesn't make a big difference in reality, but the feel you make as if, you were, for that particular moment, you relate yourself with Amitabh Bachchan, the strength, the power. So this is what is called ego weakness. And if you exploit that ego weakness correctly, you grab attention of people. But it has to be smartly done so that you don't end up, creating a bait and giving nothing in return. So that kind of thing is very important. And that is the reason why content is the king, number one. And number two, why content is the king? If original content is not there, Google or search engines, they know everything from where this content originated. And if there is a copy paste, Google is not going to give you, advantage. They will not bring your content into the search engine results we call organic results. So this thing is very important, to understand, my friends. So with this, let's move on to our next part of today, and that is, that will be explained by our interns, and what are the types of contents. So let's see. Here you are. Are you there? Urja or Shaifali? Urja or Shruti?
Yes, sir.
Who is
So I'm explaining it, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Please.
So there is a vast variety of content, and there's no exhaustive list as such to define how many types of contents are there, but I've just prepared an elaborate list of it. So blogs. Blogs are basically, blog writers are someone who produce content in a short form. It can be poetry, it can be article, posts, or something which is trending. Then we move on to brand journalism. Brand journalism is something which shows a brand in positive light. So if you say press releases or customer testimonials or brand stories, all this content will comes under brand journalism. Copywriting is something which includes infographics, product descriptions, and ad descriptions, and web pages for the organizations. Then moving on to technical writing. So have you ever wondered who writes those FAQs or know-hows or how to use the product or any electronic device when it comes in? The technical writers are the ones who produce this kind of content. The next is social media writing. It can include anything from an Instagram post to a tweet to a LinkedIn post. Anything related to social media will be included in this. Email marketing would contain those promotional mails which you get from Amazon or from any other organization saying that, oh, you have got access to exclusive sale, or you have this promo code, or they can write anything basically for promotions and circulation of their products and everything. Then we move on to script writing. Script writing can be, I would like to combine script writing with ad and promo writing. So it's basically anything which can be converted, any written content which can be converted into a podcast or say a video like web series or radio shows or audio shows, podcasts, and all that stuff. So whatever content is written for them to speak will be included in script writing. Long form articles would be, say, for example, ebooks or case studies or data studies. There are dedicated writers who write these kinds of long form articles. Then we come to creative writing. Creative writing can include jokes, puns, like appropriate jokes and puns, not very offensive ones, and talking about pure humor. All those things can be included in creative writing. That's it. I think Shruti would take up the next slide.
Right, but
Yes.
before we move to the next slide, let's discuss a little bit on these points. I would in fact request our audience, who are watching us, to share their comments and tell us if they are having some views on these type of contents that our friend Urja has explained. I would like to listen to them also, and if there are some reasonable or sensible comments which we can share, would like to share with everybody, read them aloud, so that we learn from our friends who are watching us, because I would like to engage them and understand things from them as well. So my friend, if you have something, please do share in your comment box, and we'd like to understand before we move to our next level. And I would also like to talk about these types, what is their relevance, which is very important. I understand the types are very important, but each type has, in Hindi we say chal. You have to have, it's not like everything is just like one aspect. For example, blog has different value, brand journalism has totally different value, technical writing is plain writing. There you don't bring your poetic thoughts there. Similarly, email writing has a very, very unique technique. There are certain techniques, if you don't follow, and nobody will read your email, or even somebody reads, there will not be much response. Similarly, when we are talking about writing script for drama, poetry, or cinema or something, it has totally different way of writing. Similarly, ads, if one word or two words or 5 words can create, a big impact, social impact. So only 5 lines or 2 lines or 3 lines, we have people who do research on it and spend lots of nights, just to create 2 lines of ad. Same thing applies with creative writing, because creative writing is catchy. It has to engage as many people as possible. And those writers who are involved in this, they have to plan, and foresee their audience and their thought process. Then only they can do something, Otherwise, only plain writing would not help. So it is a science, I will say. It is not an art, It is a science of content, of variety of nature, So my friends, I am saying that Mohan Kumar is saying that there are also story writing, academic writing, right? Fiction, non-fiction, right? Ruchika is saying, I write educational content and then find it difficult sometimes to write the same known facts in a different way, right? So we have Murli Krishna saying, at present success rate of digital marketing in the market world will be how much in its share? He's asking a question, my friend. You can share your thoughts, about this. Tarun is saying, how to make the content SEO friendly? Yes. Yeah, right. I would like to, Vartika's comment is very, very important when she is saying SEO friendly content. It all depends. I will like to respond to this question of Vartika. Vartika, you have to understand, that when we are talking about, SEO friendly contents, you have to define the objective of your marketing, SEO marketing, number one, which is very important. And in that, you have to also define at least 5 keywords of your services or content that you want to create and promote. And based on those frame, whatever content you prepare, including the sentence tagline, the title, you prepare your content based on that. And it has to be prepared in such a way that those, keywords appear at least once or twice in your article. And many times those words or contents, or those keywords or meta tags are underlined with certain backlinks, which takes you to more detailed information. So the idea is to create your content interesting, as well as make use of those, keywords which you have defined under tags and meta tags, and do it consistently. After you have prepared the content, you must share it at different platforms, including social media, and there are a variety of, content submission sites where you create backlinks. So search engine then, takes care of the search engine optimization. The search results, comes better. You can monitor your activity, at certain platforms. For example, Alexa. Alexa is the point which gives you the rankings of every website or every link that you create for your promotional activity. Nowadays, there are a variety of embedded, patches which comes into your system, which you can embed, and track how many number of people have come to that particular link, how much time they devoted, where they were shared. You can monitor each and every activity happening at your content, especially on hyperlink, which is there on the website or your blog or any system or content where you are, putting in, So, with this, if I would also like to request Shaifali if she could like to say something on that, because before we move, Shaifali may like to say something. Yes, Shaifali, please.
So as you said, and as Vartika pointed out, that how to create SEO friendly content. I think in today's world, it is really more, and I think much important to create such content which is SEO friendly. Now, what is SEO friendly? The keywords which people are looking for. We have to focus on that, right? And content writing, I think, is more, whether it is of any type, like Urja discussed more than I think 8 types. She just briefed about them, and you detailed them very well. So I would just say that every content writer, whosoever is writing in any of the types, needs to plan their content. I think that is the very first step everyone should take. Without planning, one should never write down. You cannot just prepare a raw content and put up, and you can just think it of that you are going to earn money instantly. No, you have to work on it. It's like, slow and steady wins the race, but you have to be consistent along with that, right? So planning your content, and you have to work daily. You at least write 250 words, but that has to be on a daily basis. If you lose your consistency, you will lose the flow. And that flow is very important, I think, in content writing, and to grab attention. And you should you should always focus on that. Hard work is what is going to give you success, and not just letting go of the things. Okay, fine, today I haven't worked, or maybe due to some reason. Spare some time. You spare just an hour. I think an hour is more than enough to write down just 250 to 500 words. This is what I have learned during lockdown. I have created so much of content just because I thought that you should take out some me time. It's very important for everyone. This me time energizes your body system, your soul, your mind, and you always have to feel happy about it. Your work is your fuel, your food. If you are happy with your work, only then you can be a, I think, great content writer, or maybe any other job. So when we are talking about content writers, so they plan it, you have to be good at your time, I think, and it is more important to set the deadlines, and just be consistent and never give up. I think these are just few points I would ask Urja and Shruti to take care of, so that they can excel in their fields. Already they are so good, so just to be master it, just take care of it.
I'd like to add one more point to Shaifali's great points, that I think it's really important to also read really quality stuff on a daily basis. And I've subscribed to a lot of new words a day, those kind of things, those kind of alerts. And I get very excited when I receive a word which I don't know about. And then how you soak and savor that word, and then you use it aptly as and when the time comes.
Right. So in this area, based on our request from our friends, on YouTube chat, the most I would like to add, which is a very technical word, which our interns perhaps not taken into consideration, but it is very important to mention. Go to our Modlingua channel. There you will find a section called social media marketing and digital marketing. In last 2 months, I have prepared at least 40 videos on these topics, right? If you go through these one by one, you will be able to discover variety of things, my friends, number one. And out of those varieties, there are two which is very important. You plan. And how to plan? There is a formula, and that formula is roadmap. ROAD, roadmap. Google this term. I will not explain you here. Go to Modlingua channel, subscribe there, get updates, my friends. And that roadmap tells you how to invest 3 months' time and plan your activities, 6 months' time, 9 months' time, and 12 months' time. So if you are planning to increase your audience and search in automation and Google friendly activity, you cannot do it in 10 days, 15 days, minimum 3 months to 12 months time, and then continuity. Similarly, when we are talking about, content, there is a model, and that model is called AIDA model, AIDA. What is AIDA? A stands for awareness, I stands for interest, D stands for desire, and A stands for action. So you create content. First, you create interest. Then after interest, you create desire to read it, desire to take some action. IDA, and then desire, AI, interest, desire, and then desire to do what? Action, clicking on that link, buying something. So this, formula is well-tested formula, and it is being used by most of the search engine optimization professionals and experts and digital marketers. So my friend, if you are talking about purely about content writing for websites and online content, then these roadmap and IDA model is a must. Go to Modlingua channel, watch these videos, share your views and comments there, my friend. I'm sure you will be able to get something there, and it will be of use for everybody. So with this, let's move on to our next activity from our friend Urja and Shruti. I will just share the how to become a good content writer. Now they will talk about this topic.
Yes, sir. So how to become a good content writer? It is a known fact that both content and content writing is very important, and they are interrelated and essential for us to move on with the anything like blogs, websites, marketing campaigns, etc., and so on. But now I will elaborate you more about how to become a good content writer. So the first step is knowing your reader. So it becomes very important to know who your readers are. Suppose I am a content writer and I have to write something, but I don't know my target audience. Then obviously I'll later on become a flop writer. So a writer needs to do a lot of study or research market by using the strategies that marketers do, like buyer's persona and so on. If, for example, if I have to write a love letter, and I am writing that love letter to my boss, obviously it will not create anything, and I will lose my audiences. So this is how knowing your reader plays a vital role in becoming a good content a good content writer. Sorry. Next, knowing what you actually want to say. Now you very well know who your readers are. Now you have to write according to their interests. It becomes very important to write content according to their interests. For example, if my target audience are men and I'm telling them or writing topics on natural beauty, obviously it will not make any sense, and again I will lose my audience.
Your voice has cut off, my friend. No problem. What I will do will move on with Urja. Urja, could you like to take it forward? What she was saying?
Sure, sir. I'd like to take it forward. So basically what she meant was knowing your target audience is really important while putting up content. And after that, you should, even if you know who your target audience is, whatever subject matter you're choosing, you should know it well. Otherwise, it won't come across the way you are expecting. So there should be clarity of thought in your mind before you put up some content online for others to understand. The third thing I would like to say is, she spoke about connecting dots. So when we pick up a topic, it's a wide range, and you need to pick up what is relevant for your audience and start connecting them so that it makes sense to your audience. Am I audible, sir?
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Then the next one is keep evolving. As Shaifali ma'am specified, that consistency is really important. You need to keep writing every day, utilize this time, and improve your skills and keep, so whatever feedback you get, you need to take it constructively and improve your skills till the time you feel satisfied about the content you're putting up, because you're putting it through to a large audience.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. And then I'd like to talk about optimizing digital content. I believe that we need to put content which is user-friendly and not just to impress Google or any search engine. So it is really important that the content that we put up, like we had a session previously on cloaking and keyword stuffing. There's no point of putting so many keywords to impress Google so that your ranking improves, because once people open your article or your content, they're not going to be able to enjoy it and they will move on. So it is really important to impress your audience rather than just impressing Google for leveraging those rankings.
Right. So I will like to say something on this, if you allow me, Urja.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
See, Urja has explained, it should be user-friendly, it should be findable, it should be persuasive, it should be space, it should be creative, etc., etc. This is part of any content writing. And when it comes to creativity, certainly creativity plays a key role there, and that's why we call content is the king. And original contents, which comes from your thought. This is very powerful tool of we humans, and millions of computers together have not been able to beat one human brain, and that is the reason why human brain's creativity is considered to be a very, very powerful thing. And poets, as well as thinkers, as well as writers, play a key role in society, and they are influencers, they bring major changes. They can change the discourse, of any timeline through their thoughts. We have seen Chanakya in our system long back, Dronacharya. In past, in Greek period, Aristotle, Plato, these were all thinkers, they have changed the discourse. Even in modern times, like Marx, or we have thinkers, in India, like Vivekananda or Paramhans, all these people have brought changes in our lives because of their originality. And they were not, thinking that Google will come and give them rewards. So if we only produce content for Google, then perhaps we will become slaves to machines, right? So we have to be smart enough not to become Google or be its slave. Rather, we should give direction to Google that, this is how things are done. Change your code, change your algorithm, and come to me, because I am the king, or my contents are the kings, or queens. So that creativity, should be preserved, and that only we writers or we translators or we content writers or creative writers can do so. Okay. Any comments you would like to give panel people, Shruti or Kanika or Shaifali? Anything you want to add?
Something here. I'd like to add something here that I
Yes.
think there's another element involved in when you write content for, let's say, a brand, or you work for a certain organization where you are working in their writing department, or like whether you're in journalism or brand journalism, or you're working for Twitter. So I think you need to have you need to have a very open mind, and as a content person, you need to have a very, very big heart to receive feedback, because you're going to get lots of it. It's not that you start writing something today and tomorrow you're going to become Shakespeare. It's never going to happen. And as you move from one organization or one product to the other, you'll have to adapt your writing style to that product through that target audience. So I think I see that a lot in the youngsters. I'm quite young myself, but still I'd like to use the word youngsters because there's too much impatience that I've written something and it's gospel truth. It can't be like that, because ultimately an organization, when you work for an organization, it's running a company and they are looking for results through your writing. So I think feedback, openness of mind and heart, very, very important.
Okay, that is great, Kanika. I understand, feedback, we should be ready to change, learn, and incorporate those feedbacks because it improves. And with feedback, it reminds me to come back to our friends who are watching us on YouTube. I would request them to please do share our webinar with your friends, bring more people. I will be happy, more than happy, if the channel subscribers base increase. So all those who have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. We are about to reach our target for today, and that is 3,000. But still there are some numbers which is not complete. So that is my concern always with my interns. We are making a steady and slow progress, and we want to make it a big globally, especially for content writing, teaching, language teaching, translation, etc. We are creating a kind of community learning hub where anybody could come and join and learn from each other. So my friends, that is my request to you all. And with that, if you have any comments to share, please do write your comments here. We'll come back, after this this session and do little more discussions. So with keeping time into consideration, let's move forward. And the other slide that we are talking about is what are the best practices for content writing. So who is taking on this, my friends?
So I'll be taking that up.
Okay, so Urja is taking it forward, and that is on what are the best practices for content writing. To you, Urja, please.
Yes, sir. So like our mentors, both Shaifali ma'am and Kanika ma'am specified that consistency, research, having an open heart to take feedback and improve on it is really important. So this is the broad, I would say broad way of writing, which I have discovered for myself when I started content writing. So it's really important to understand your subject matter and target audience. Shruti had already specified that, so I would not elaborate much on it. Then creating an outline and a template. When you read a piece of content or hear a topic, there are a lot of thoughts which come to our mind instantly. But there are times when we sit down to put it to paper or start typing it, we just feel lost. So it is really important that we create an outline in our minds, create a template which will help us structure all our thoughts into a proper flow. That's one thing. Then the creative ability. If you just simply put text or monotonous lines, it is not going to engage the audience. So it is really important to understand that creative writing is a little touch of creative writing is also important while writing all kinds of writing except technical writing, because that is something you can't change. Then I would like to say that your content should be easy to share and consume. Like I specified earlier, stuffing it with keywords, cloaking, or putting in deceiving content is a practice which you should stop immediately. This will not bring you traffic. This will not take your content anywhere. It will just stagnate, and you will eventually realize that you have to improve rather than using these malpractices to promote your content. Then I would like to move on that formatting and layout. That is one thing which is important because your content should be presentable and appealing to the audience. So if you if you put up a slide, say, and you put up a very dark background along with pictures and use bold text or neon colors, or maybe that will not appeal your audience at all. So you need to take it a little easy and make it good and appealing to the eyes so that it is easier to read, easier to understand, and grasp all those information and create a proper what do you say you are able to understand what the text is basically. And the next is leveraging keywords. So as discussed before, it is important to understand what are those keywords which are relevant to your topic and use them consistently rather than putting a lot of keywords and stuffing it. The next thing is, do not resort to plagiarism and rewriting. This is the biggest mistake every one of us make. If we read an article, we tend to, even if we say put captions in our Instagram posts or anything, we pick up a quote and put it right there without even realizing that there's somebody who should actually be getting a credit to it. We end up doing all that. It is really important to understand that plagiarism is a criminal offense. Firstly, it's an intellectual property of right, and you can't mess around with that. And original content is the thing which actually takes you places. If you do not put original content, you will be in trouble. There's no way out of it then. And rewriting also, you might think that, you know, if you change one or two words, the meaning or context would change. It actually does not. And if you really want to understand if your content is plagiarized or not, tools like Grammarly can help you out. It shows how much of the content is taken from where. It will show you all that. So it is really important to pay attention to this one point. This is what I believe. That's it, sir.
Okay, wow, that's a very, very interesting, point, Urja, which you have explained. They are very important because, if, for example, we are not able to, understand these finer points, we end up creating bigger troubles for us. For example, we were talking about formatting, layout, etc. It's very important for content writer to understand that lots of efforts go in the background after the content has been created, and that there is a designing. There is a technical team which works on it continuously. So, and they give you certain directions to follow certain tags, to follow certain formula, and if those things are not taken care of, you can create a big problem for everybody. You can be a good content writer, but if you do not deliver that content as per the requirement of the technical team, you can give them a big problem, and they can pass sleepless night. At times a comma, at times certain tags, they play a major role. So if you have taken content time in content writing, let's say 1 hour, and if because of some region, technical region, one comma or one space or one hyphen, one underline, something is missing, when they put up that content for consumption by the people through their app or through their codes, it can be a big problem, because without those a small space can create whole website to not function. So for that particular movement, it can get a big headache to everybody. So apart from these creative things, there are certain these typical requirements which must be followed, number one. And in addition to that, the other one is not to rewrite, not to copy paste, not to do plagiarism, because you feel that nobody will come to know from where you have brought it. But there are now tools which can put you in a big problem and it can be very embarrassing. For example, you prepare a content from copying from somebody's content, and you put it there, and that will create a big problem, because if suppose your boss gives you, that this is what you are doing, this is what we are paying it for, or if boss has not controlled it, and somehow you are able to, you move up the ladder, and the content gets published. What will happen if after publishing 10 people claim that this content is mine? Can you imagine what will happen? So there are legalities involved, my friend. So with this, my friend, I believe, it is very important to understand that we should not be doing this illegal activity, Otherwise, we will run into big trouble, and the content writing business will go down, right? So Kanika, could you like to say something on this?
Yes, I almost got lost in everybody's thoughts, but the most important thing is from the very beginning, which I think is important for any subject, is the foundation. Like if your grammar is not great, then you can't possibly put a sentence together. And I'm quite gung-ho about Grammarly and all these other cool tools. But in one sense, they're also a bit of a shortcut to, gaining complete knowledge of the subject. So I think it's very important that you grasp the subject very, very well, and you have complete understanding of grammar. It's fine if you don't know a past participle from a present participle and parentheses and all this. Really, I'm not going to get into nitty gritty, but what I'm trying to say is that, for example, when you're trying to build a house, the most important thing to build a house is that your foundation has to be strong. So I noticed that almost everybody nowadays claims to be a content writer. But when I go to their posts or their tweets and I see basic grammar mistakes as in it's and it's, the IT apostrophe S and the ITS. I mean, it really irritates the hell out of me that how can you claim to be a content writer when your basics are not clear? But so for me, it's always going back to the basics. And the other thing I thought while Urja was sharing, very well, that once we write something, I think there's something called our gut feel. Like when I write an article, there's something in my gut which tells me, oh, I did a great job. Or there's something which tells me in my heart, like my conscious or my, in like my inner twin or whatever you can call it, that it doesn't match up, or like it's not, there's something missing. So I think that we can create some sort of a tagline for ourselves where we can, each time we write something, we can ask ourselves this one question: am I content with this content? So if I can ask myself this question and the answer is yes, then I should move on and write the next article and so on and so forth. But if I'm not content with my content, then we need to revisit the content, adjust whatever there is to it, and then move on. I mean, at least this is how I plan it and do it.
Right. So, with this, let's come back to our, last part of our discussion today. And there we will talk about Urja. Urja perhaps would like to share something on how to make a career, in content writing. We do have two experts here already. We will come back to them also after Urja has shared her thoughts, and then we will discuss, how to enter into this business, or we call content writing, freelancing, internship, blogging, or how to do it. Let's listen from Urja.
Yes, sir. So even I recently discovered content writing as a career option. I mean, I thought of doing an MBA in marketing, and that is when I discovered that content writing can be a proper professional career. So I found out some freelance options, and I took up a freelance job where a freelance and I wrote 8 articles for them, and it really changes your perspective. I mean, I was working for a consultancy firm who was in turn working for TCS, and we were writing articles which would go in TCS archives. So it was able to change my perspective towards the world, and I was able to understand where the world is actually going and where I stand right now. How much do I need to improve? So content writing gives a very fresh perspective to yourself. The second thing is internship. Since I did that freelance stint and I really enjoyed it, I thought of taking an internship in content writing, which is why I applied for Modlingua. Because content writing, branding, project management, market research, all these things are the thing. All these aspects are the ones which will be covered in this internship. And obviously it's been a little over 2 weeks now, and we have been learning every day, new terms every day, new things, how to convince people to say increase the subscriber, or go and read the articles on the website, everything. So it is something which it is worth exploring for a content writer or a budding content writer. The next thing is blogging. I have not had a personal experience with it, but in this lockdown, I've seen a lot of people coming up with poetries, coming up with some original content and making their blogs. And it is, it's a way to reach out to people, tell people what you really understand from the situations, from the topic which you pick up. And there are bloggers like I don't know if you've heard Neil Patel. I really follow him because I'm into digital marketing. He writes contents in the most simplified terms. If you think content writing or digital marketing, content marketing is really overwhelming, you should read one of his blogs. He simplifies it in such a manner that you are able to learn a lot, and that is a full-time career he has chosen. The next thing is, as Kanika ma'am mentioned, that basics is really important. So you could take up some courses, learn all the art of writing. So recently Harvard had made its courses free, and I saw a course on art of persuasive writing, which was really something to explore, because we tend to put up content but don't really understand if it is actually able to convince people or persuade people to join or do the action which you are really expecting. Even if you give call to action buttons or whatever, is it effective or not? You are not able to judge. So unless you do some specialization or a course, or you have a basic decent understanding of it, you won't be able to move forward in this path. So certification programs and courses is one thing a content writer or a budding content writer should opt for.
Wow, that is great. So, my friends, we were discussing first the strategy, then we try to learn what are the types of these content writings, what are the branches, what are the finer aspects of content writing, how to do search engine content, how to do creative, how to do technical. All these are very important. And if we start specializing, in all these areas, perhaps we are able to do lots of justice to ourselves. It is very satisfying, when you write content and people read it, comment it, apart from that, it gives you some money. If you are doing full-time content writing, nowadays, lots of options are there to make money out of it, but it doesn't happen in a day. It takes lots of time, efforts, and but if you are thinking of making a career out of it, I believe Kanika as well as Shaifali, both of them, are sample in front of us, from whom we can learn how they enter into, this content writing business, I will say, or career. and how satisfying it is, how much they earn or keep themselves busy and keep themselves happy. So Kanika, could you like to say something on that?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I started, I think it was the year 2002. I started, just as you said, that started working to do an internship is a great opportunity. So yes, my first internship was with the newspaper in education, Times of India, and I was in the editorial department. And then from there, I interned with the Hindu in their Metro Plus department, which is their features paper. And then they asked me to freelance, and that's how my writing journey began. And then I used to work for this small neighborhood newspaper based on this German neighborhood chronicle called Neighborhood Flash. And one thing, word of mouth, that there's an opening here and there's an opening there, and then that's how so many years have passed and so many organizations one has worked in. And I think I think it's a very, very satisfying career as far as I'm concerned, because I'm very creative by nature. Like, I like to write, I like to paint. I know that I'm crazy about art and aesthetics. So I think either Ravi or you said something about graphics, and that how. So I wanted to say something here, that nowadays everybody is looking for a complete package. 10 years back, if you were a writer, they were only expecting you to have writing skills. But now, if you're a writer, they are expecting you to have digital content skills, analytical skills, SEO skills, optimization skills, basically skills of, I don't know, digital, you need to become a digital ninja, if I may say so. And it's, so nowadays, I think writing content, working for an organization where you want to make a career out of content, so you have to be prepared that print is dying and digital content is going to be king. It is already king all over the world. India is still a bit far behind, but it's going to get there. So we need to become future proof, become future ready with the skills of the future, the writing skills of the future. So all this, and learning to analyze our content, learning to optimize it, to leverage it properly. We need to know this like the back of our hand. So it's not an easy task that you start today and you'll become a pro tomorrow. So again, patience, perseverance. I think in becoming a writer, patience and perseverance, very, very important. And I forgot to mention one point. When I was talking about grammar, there is a very famous classic book on grammar. It's called Eats, Shoots, Leaves, or it's called Eat, Shoots and Leaves, something like that. It's the zero tolerance to punctuation. So please, I recommend you guys to read it. It's a very entertaining book, and it has the cover with a panda on top, and he's eating a bamboo shoot. And there's a comma, and you can figure out yourself what exactly the headline means. The title of the book. It says Eat, Shoots, Leaves. So it means that it eats, shoots, bamboo shoots, and leaves. But when you read it in one go, it means eats, shoots, and leaves, meaning eats, shoots somebody, and leaves. So, writing is a fascinating career opportunity. It's a fascinating journey. And like Urja said, it's really an activity to stir your own mind and the minds of all those who are reading your articles or features or whatever you're writing. So it's very satisfying. And the money is not initially that great, especially if you're in the media, you're going to earn peanuts. But again, patience and perseverance. And I'm sure you'll get there. So
that's great, Kanika. We are very thankful to you for sharing your experience. And as I understand, it is very satisfying experience for you to be a content writer and making career out of it. So let's understand also our friend Shaifali, what is there with her as a content writer, she being from a background called biotechnology, and from biotechnology to content writing, is a very, very drastic curve. So let's understand how this curve is playing role in Shefali's life.
Okay, so I would just like to add what Kanika has beautifully, just framed that patience and perseverance is what you need in this career. So I was pursuing biotechnology, and accidentally I just told you that I entered into copywriting world. I had to leave my job because of my, marriage and then pregnancy and everything. But then I suddenly settled with a job where I started working as a content writer, and I used to write on different topics, from STEM, humanities, laboratory tests, and everything. Computer programs. I have never studied, Java, but then I have written about that, and believe me that you have to study a lot. You cannot just jot down some lines from here and there and give it to the company. No, you have to really work upon it. It has to be fresh. It has to be new. It needs to be creative, even if it's a computer program. So what I have learned during my content editing or content writing career is that as Shruti and Urja beautifully told so many points, I would just suggest them that please, whatever you read, whatever XYZ thing, try to frame that book, that journal, that paper, that article in few words. Try to summarize it. This will give you, this will help in building a vocabulary. Okay, you cannot learn the dictionary in one day. You cannot just subscribe and study and just fit those words in your content. But to understand how the content is king and how is it ruling the world, you have to I think just study, just read different material, maybe of different zones, and then you summarize it online. Try to summarize it on immediately when you read a book, maybe anything. It can be anything that you read. This will this will grab your attention of audience, attention of authors, attention of people who are clicking on that link. This will also help you, career, not only in writing, but also reading. Uh, Content writing, as I told in, I don't know, I had a conversation with you, but then as I told that it is a Pandora's box, So content writing and reading are, so much interrelated. There is intercalation. I don't know whether you have heard about beta readers, alpha readers, and gamma readers. But once you are into this field, you will understand that the readers and writers are the only two people who are going to rule the world, very soon. Okay, so you have very wisely chosen this field, and never give up. I would say just be consistent, keep on working, write. Do not think that my content is bad or good. Just write and then rework on it before you post. And always try that you are creative. How can you be creative? Only after reading a lot, as Kanika said, and just Ravi sir said that it has to be researched. It cannot be plagiarized, and obviously you have to use SEO techniques, with which Ravi sir, I know, is going to help you a lot.
Great, thanks, Shefali. I understand the concept that we are talking about alpha, beta, and gamma readers. And recently, we had a webinar on Alpha Pack with Wolf.
Wow.
Wolf. We have learned leadership from Wolf, who is the alpha. Who plays the leadership role and binds the whole group. So we have to kind of learn to always keep on learning. I will give you my example. When I was doing content writing and preparing political reports, I started learning, and a stage came there when I become a good political analyst, because I was reading lots of books and newspapers on a daily basis. Then when I started learning, reading, writing on business books, business world, started teaching, doing research, I become a sort of expert in Latin American market. Then when I got interest into translation, I became a sort of expert in translation. Then when I started doing, search engine optimization and content writing, etc., I become a web developer. I design my own websites, do artificial intelligence. I apply whatever I learn on my website, modlingua.com. If you go to modlingua.com, you will see whatever that you see is my creation. Similarly, when I started doing legal translation work, I became a lawyer. So, it is a curve that content, and knowledge uh, takes you from different directions. And if you are adaptive, and always ready to learn new things, from arts, you can be a big scientist, and there is no big difference between physics and literature, because all literature as well as physics, they merge at one point, and that is spiritualism. Physics, when physics fails, it meets at metaphysics. Similarly, when literature fails, it meets at meta literature, that we call realism and spirituality. So, my friends, if you are in the process of learning, you keep on, doing activities and keep on moving forward, my friends. So before I close, I would like to thank Urja as well as Shruti, Shaifali as well as Kanika for being with us. And I would now like to go and read the comments of our friends who are watching us with us today on YouTube channel, and then we will close. So before I close, I would like to bring 2 points, which is very important. There is a Arpit editor who says, why long forms, of he's saying that, there are some contents which are not free in nature and people charge for it. Why is it so? My friend, if they are making lots of efforts in creating original content for you, case studies, school books, research, if they start giving free, how will they survive, my friend? They need to be compensated. There are some libraries, online libraries, especially by IIT consortium. If you try to find out, you will find millions of books available. But there are some writers, there are some poets, who are poor, and if they start giving you everything free, they will not survive, my friend. So let's be considerate about them, and at least if you find some good books or some poetry, buy them. We have Mohan Kumar saying, it's practically possible for one person to become a master of all these types of writing. No, friend, practicality is not possible, but certainly over a period of time, 1 year, 2 year of experience, you can develop a considerable knowledge and comfort zone where you could continue to work on. We have Kanika, saying that Kanika, please share some of these links from where one gets alerts for new words. This is very important for Kanika. Vartika is asking you this. And then we have Abu saying, before writing any topic, the most difficult task to start is how to start, where from start. So it is very important to you to come to the point, and for that, perhaps you need to do some meditation and yoga, Abu. Concentrate yourself before you. Inspiration to hear from our mentors. Mehak, good for you. Thanks for your comments. Pooja is saying good evening, and similarly there are comments coming from Ruchika, education content writing. Then we have comments from Emma. We have comments from Tabrez, Gil, and all my friends who are there watching us. I would like to thank you all. Before we close, perhaps Kanika would like to share the link from where these alerts come. Perhaps I know of Google alerts and Yahoo alerts. Kanika, you have something to say on that?
Well, there are very many websites where you can raise an alert, and I can't think of anything right now, but I'd be happy to share it on email.
Right. So great. We will also put some links in our YouTube video in case somebody is interested, can go there. So with this, my friends, I would like to thank you everybody for being with us today. And Shruti and Urja, you did a wonderful job. And Thanks to you and thanks to our mentors Kanika and Shaifali. Bye for now, my friends, for today.
Thank you, sir.
Do share the video, do subscribe to the channel, make it as much popular as possible. Let's grow the community. Thanks again, my friends. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Good night.